following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
Hello and a very good morning to all News 9 viewers. I'm Neha Bhan. Let's take a look at some of the top stories of this hour. We begin with the Israel-Hamas war, which has now entered its 62nd day. Let's get you the latest update from the war front. Now, Israeli forces and Hamas indulge in house-to-house battles, taking the war a step further. Israeli forces surround house of top Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. Hamas Gaza leader Yahya Sinwar is hiding underground. That is what the Israeli Defense Forces have stated. The Israeli forces operating in the heart of Khan Yunis. Now, Israel approves minimal fuel supply to Gaza. That is what the Israeli Prime Minister's office has confirmed. UN chief, meanwhile, has invoked Article 99 to force Security Council to address the war. 1,207 Palestinians have been killed since truce collapse. That is what the Gaza's health ministry has claimed. Now, Israeli forces and Hamas terrorists indulged in house-to-house fighting over the control of Khan Yunis on Wednesday. Khan Yunis is Gaza's second biggest city. The IDF claimed it had carried out airstrikes on about 250 targets in the Gaza Strip during the past day, while Hamas claimed it killed 10 Israeli soldiers in Khan Yunis and injured several others, a claim that could not be verified. The United Nations reported a significant increase of Israeli bombardments of Gaza since Monday afternoon, accompanied by intense ground fighting and an increase in Hamas rocket attacks targeting Israel. Amid the escalating conflict on Wednesday, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres invoked a rarely used clause in the UN Charter to raise the issue on his own initiative before the Security Council, emphasizing that the intensifying conflict may exacerbate existing threats to international peace and security. He said, and I quote, "We're facing a severe risk of collapse of the humanitarian system." That is what he wrote in a letter to the Council. The situation is fast deteriorating into a catastrophe with potentially irreversible implications for Palestinians as a whole and for peace and security in the region. Now, hundreds of thousands of Gazans continue to flee to the west and south of Khan Yunis, including to Rafah. However, as per the United Nations, shelters in these areas were far beyond capacity, forcing the displaced Palestinians to sleep in the streets or in empty lots. Now, Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar told a rally in Gaza last year that Hamas would deploy fighters and rockets in a fierce strike on Israel, the nation that imprisoned him for 23 years. On the 7th of October, the deadly Hamas attack on Israel showed his threat was real and not a mere talk.
Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar's speech in Gaza last year was no idle threat.
We will come to you with an endless number of rockets. We will come to you in a flood of soldiers without limit.
It sounded like crowd-pleasing hyperbole. But at this time, a secret plan had already been hatched for an assault on Israel, a country that jailed Sinwar for 23 years before he was freed and rose to the Hamas leadership. October 7 would be the deadliest day in Israel's history, in which the militants killed 1,200 people and took 240 hostages, Israeli tallies say. Israel has retaliated with bombardment and a ground invasion, killing at least 15,000 Palestinians. Sinwar spent half his adult life behind bars in Israel. He was jailed in 1988 for planning the abduction and killing of 2 Israeli soldiers and the murder of 4 Palestinian collaborators. This was the moment he was freed in 2011, one of more than 1,000 Palestinians released for a single Israeli soldier.
This is one of the biggest strategic events in the history of our people's cause in the past years. So we are living a moment of unusual joy.
Sinwar has been leading negotiations for prisoner swaps with hostages, sources say, and it's a personal issue. He has vowed to free all Palestinian prisoners Israel holds. Sinwar is a ruthless man, according to Michael Kubi, a former official for Israel's Shin Bet intelligence agency, who interrogated him for 180 hours in jail. The now 61-year-old militant leader was then in his late 20s, Kubi says, but dedicated to attacking Israel.
Yahya Sinwar was at the prison. He was the chief of the whole Hamas prisoners. They were sitting together. They make discussion inside the prison, of course, and they taught how to fight the Israelis, after they will be released. That was his plan.
Born in the Khan Yunis refugee camp, Sinwar rose to prominence as a hardline enforcer. Before jail, he was head of the Al-Majd security apparatus which tracked, killed and punished Palestinians accused of collaborating with Israel. Sources who know him, whether Hamas or Israeli, agree his devotion to the militant movement is extraordinary.
So he told me, the Hamas is my wife, the Hamas is my child, the Hamas for me is everything.
Sinwar is one of Israel's most wanted. This was Israeli Army Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi in October.
The one who decided on this despicable attack was Yahya al-Sinwar, the sovereign of the Gaza Strip. Therefore, he and the whole system under him are as good as dead.
Regional officials say Israel is unlikely to end the war until Sinwar is dead or captured. 2 military experts said that would be an important symbolic victory. But achieving it would be long and costly for Israel, with no guarantee of success. Sinwar Mohammed Daif, the mastermind of last month's assault, and a third commander, direct military operations, possibly from bunkers beneath Gaza, Hamas sources have told Reuters. Some tunnels are believed to be 80 meters underground, and Kubi says Sinwar wouldn't give up.
Even he will fight. I'm sure that Yahya Sinwar wouldn't leave the Gaza Strip.
The Israeli army released a video on Wednesday showing various rockets, grenades, drones and explosive devices in a cache of weapons the army said was found near a school complex in northern Gaza. The army said it had uncovered one of the largest weapons depots in Gaza with hundreds of rocket-propelled grenades, dozens of anti-tank missiles, long-range missiles, explosive devices and unmanned aerial vehicles. The Israeli army found the weapons cache in a residential area near a complex of schools. The army said some of the seized weapons were destroyed on site and others were sent for further investigation.
צק"ג 50 מצא אמצעי לחימה רבים במרחב שאנו נמצאים בו כרגע. בתוך אמצעי הלחימה אפשר לראות טילי נ"ט רבים, מאות, וכן אמצעים נוספים אסטרטגיים, דוגמת כלי טיס בלתי מאוישים וטילים ארוכי טווח. אנחנו נמצאים בלב שכונת מגורים. אפשר לראות לידי גם את מרחב בתי הספר, קריית בתי ספר מאוד מאוד גדולה.
Now, the Israeli army released a video on Wednesday showing what it claims airstrikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Since this morning, IDF tanks and artillery have been striking several locations in Lebanon, and IDF aircraft struck a military command center and military infrastructure belonging to Hezbollah terrorist organization. Quote unquote, that is what the Israeli army said. Now, Israel and the heavily armed Lebanese group Hezbollah have been exchanging fire across the Lebanese-Israeli border since the start of the war on the 7th of October. Even though Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned Hezbollah time and again against entering the war and said that it would have to deal with repercussions that goes beyond its imagination. The Israeli army on Wednesday released videos showing ground troops operating in Gaza and aerial strikes on Hamas targets a day after the IDF reached Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. The footage shows soldiers engaging in combat in residential area, armored vehicles moving and tanks firing ammunition. A video filmed inside a classroom showed soldiers revealing what they say was an explosive device that was placed inside a school. Aerial footage showed strikes on what the Israeli army said were Hamas terrorists and command centers. Let's now switch our focus to what's been happening back home. A special investigation team headed by Additional Director General Dinesh of the Rajasthan Police has been formed to probe the killing of Rashtriya Rajput Karani Sena Sukhdev Singh Gogamedi. The Rajasthan Police also carried out searches to nab the two accused who allegedly killed Gogamedi for backing the enemies of gangster Rohit Godara. Rohit Godara is said to have ties with the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, who has taken responsibility for the murder in a Facebook post. Gogamedi was shot dead in the living room of his house in Jaipur. Shops and businesses remained shut in several cities in Rajasthan on Wednesday in protest. Top bureaucrats, including Chief Secretary Usha Sharma and DGP Umesh Mishra, held a meeting with all district collectors and SPs to review the law and order situation in view of the murder and the protests. The mortal remains, his mortal remains are being taken from Metro Mass Hospital to SMS Hospital, where a post-mortem was completed and he will be cremated later today.
आप सभी भाइयों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपका आंदोलन रंग लाया है, आपका आंदोलन रंग लाया है। कृपया करके सुनिए मेरी बात। अभी कार्यालय पुलिस उपायुक्त दक्षिण जयपुर श्री सुखदेव सिंह गोगामेडी हत्याकांड के प्रकरण में लापरवाही बरतने पर तत्कालीन थानाधिकारी श्यामनगर व थाने के बीट के प्रभारी व बीट कांस्टेबल को तुरंत प्रभाव से निलंबित किया जाता है। श्री सुखदेव सिंह गोगामेडी हत्याकांड के वांछित अभियुक्त गण को 72 घंटे के भीतर गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा। ये आप लोगों की जीत, ये आप लोगों की जीत है भाइयों। ये जीत हमारे को बनाए रखनी है। आज तो इन लोगों ने अपने को लिख के लेटर दिया है, लेकिन अगर जरूरत पड़ी तो ये बहन आपको दोबारा से बुलाएगी और आप लोगों को मेरे साथ आना पड़ेगा, मेरा साथ देना पड़ेगा। आपको भी पता है कि गीदड़ों ने शेर का शिकार किया है। उस शेर का जो हमारे समाज को जगाया, जिसने इस समाज को एक जाजम फैला दिया, क्या आप लोग उसकी शहादत को ऐसे ही जाने दोगे? नहीं ना।
Jaipur continues to remain tense after Rashtriya Rajput Karani Sena chief Sukhdev Singh Gogamedi was brutally shot dead at his residence. A band was also observed in Rajasthan over the killing. Heavy security has been deployed to ensure no untoward incident takes place. Now, there are several places across Rajasthan which, which continue to remain tense following the brutal killing of Karni Sena Chief Sukhdev Singh Gogamadi. Top bureaucrats including Chief Secretary and DGP also now holding a meeting with the district collectors to review the law and order situation. Right on your screens, these are in fact the visuals from Rajasthan where in fact Kota particularly where the situation continues to remain tense. Gogamadi's post-mortem has been completed. He will be cremated later today. Shops and businesses continue to remain shut in several cities in Rajasthan in protest over the brutal killing of Gogamadi. In the latest, a special investigation team has been formed to investigate the killing of Gogamadi. The Rajasthan police, meanwhile, also carried out searches to nab the two accused who allegedly killed Gogamadi for backing the enemies of gangster Rohit Godara. We also, in fact, are getting some latest update in this particular case, in the Sukhdev Singh Gogamadi murder case, where gangster Rohit Godara has revealed reason behind the murder on his Facebook account. Rohit Godara has said that Singh was in touch with the late singer Sidhu Moosewala, and he has claimed extortion money, in fact, was the reason for the murder. That's in fact a big update there coming in, where Godara has claimed that extortion money was the reason for the murder. Now, Telangana Congress President Revanth Reddy will be sworn in as the next Chief Minister. The party is considering appointing a Deputy Chief Minister from the Dalit community. Revanth will be the second Chief Minister of Telangana after BRS Chief K.C. Rao. The party has chosen Revanth as the leader of the Congress legislature party in Telangana. The party is now finalizing the team of ministers in the Revanth Reddy cabinet, with Bhatti Vikramarka and Uttam Reddy vying for the post of Deputy Chief Minister. In the recently held assembly elections, it was the Congress that received a warm welcome from the people of Telangana, while three other important crucial states, the Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, in fact, continues to be dominated by BJP. BJP made a comeback in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, while in Telangana, the people there opened doors for Congress, with Revanth Reddy leading the charge, and now he's all set to take oath as the Chief Minister today. After securing victories in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan assembly elections, the BJP remains tight-lipped about their chief ministerial picks. Despite meetings between Home Minister Amit Shah and Party President JP Nadda, central observers' names are yet to be disclosed. Talking about Rajasthan's Vasundhara Raje, who is in Delhi, and BJP's spokesperson Lakshmikant Bhardwaj mentioned decisions would now come from the national capital. Raje had a show of strength at her residence where MLAs met her. Meanwhile, in Chhattisgarh, witnessed heightened security around Renuka Singh and Raman Singh's residences, leading to speculation. Also, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan is seemingly unperturbed visiting night shelters and medical colleges. The party in Delhi is silent on developments after meetings, with speculations ranging from the possibility of new faces to Chauhan's potential claim, given the party's impressive Madhya Pradesh win. Elected MLAs from the 3 states, including 12 BJP MPs, are currently in Delhi for the ongoing parliament session. The BJP is likely to introduce new faces as chief ministers in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. This is according to our sources. Now, despite the party's impressive performance in the recently concluded state assembly elections, the official confirmation on CM appointments is still pending. In Rajasthan, speculation surrounds Vasundhara Raje or Baba Balaknath as potential CM candidates. People in Rajasthan express a preference for Vasundhara Raje, while other contenders include Gajendra Singh Shekhawat and Diya Kumari. In Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan is expected to be the prominent face for the chief minister position due to his welfare schemes. However, Chauhan, while acknowledging the success of the initiatives like the Ladli Behna scheme, denies actively pursuing another term as chief minister. Other potential CM candidates in Madhya Pradesh include Prahlad Singh Patel, Kailash Vijay Vargiya and Jyotiraditya Scindia. In Chhattisgarh, former Chief Minister Raman Singh and BJP leader Arun Sao are leading the race for the CM post. The party's silence on official announcements adds to the ongoing suspense. Who exactly is going to be the chief minister in these 3 crucial states? Will it be Vasundhara Raje yet again? Will it be Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Raman Singh in their respective states again? Or will BJP spring a surprise? That is something that remains to be seen. Chennai grapples with the aftermath of Cyclone Michaung, facing severe flooding, waterlogging and power outages 2 days after the storm hit. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will visit Tamil Nadu today as representatives of the central government to assess the flood situation, and also will hold a meeting with Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. Despite weakening, the cyclone is expected to bring heavy rainfall to Chhattisgarh, Odisha and North Andhra Pradesh for the next 10 to 12 hours. Rescue operations continue in waterlogged areas like Velachery and Tambaram, with people seeking help and boats ferrying residents to higher ground. Schools and colleges in Chennai are closed on the 7th of December as severe flooding persists. South Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu are clear from further rainfall. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin seeks an immediate interim relief fund of 5,060 crore from Prime Minister Narendra Modi to aid cyclone-affected areas. Let's now switch our focus to some other international stories. Former President Trump directed his son Eric Trump not to testify again in the ongoing New York fraud trial that poses a threat to the family's business empire. Trump stated on Truth Social that Eric's prior testimony was perfect and saw no point in further wasting time in what he labeled as a crooked court. Eric had distanced himself from the crucial financial statements during earlier testimony, emphasizing he had no involvement with the statement of financial condition. Eric Trump is also a defendant in the case brought by State Attorney General. He has, in fact, already testified alongside brother Donald Jr. and sister Ivanka. President Joe Biden hinted that he might not have pursued a 2024 re-election campaign if not for Donald Trump's candidacy, as he believes Trump presents a distinct threat to the United States. Now, Biden underscored the importance of preventing Trump from winning, emphasizing how the states cannot afford to let him succeed.
President Joe Biden said Tuesday that he might not have run for re-election if Donald Trump had not entered the race. At a fundraising campaign stop outside Boston, Biden said, quote, "If Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running," adding, quote, "We cannot let him win." Reporters later asked Biden whether he would be running if Trump were not.
I expect so, but look, he is running, and I have to run.
Biden's comments come as even staunch Democratic voters have expressed concern in recent polls about the president's age. At 81 years old, Biden is the oldest president in U.S. history. Trump responded to Biden's remarks at a Fox News town hall held the same day, saying, quote, "Somebody gave him a talking point they thought would sound good." Trump and Biden last faced off for the Oval Office in 2020, after Trump served one term as president from 2017 to 2021. Biden's aides increasingly regard Trump's frontrunner status for the Republican presidential nomination as insurmountable, according to two of those Democrats who declined to be named. Recent polling has shown Trump leading Biden in hypothetical matchups in key swing states and on the national level.
During the initial half of the Republican presidential debate, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis repeatedly targeted former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley to diminish her momentum before the Iowa nominating contest. Both contenders aim to position themselves as the primary alternative to former President Donald Trump, who continues to lead in polls ahead of the Jan 15 Iowa contest. The debate, featuring Vivek Ramaswamy and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, featured personal attacks alongside discussions on the Ukraine war, Israel-Hamas conflict and the U.S. southern border. Senator Ron Wyden cautioned that unnamed governments are monitoring smartphone users through app push notifications. Wyden's letter to the Department of Justice highlighted foreign officials' demands for data from Google and Apple, revealing a concerning avenue for governments to track smartphones. Push notifications, commonly used by various apps to alert users about messages or updates, often go through Google and Apple servers, a fact many users are unaware of. Apps of all kinds rely on push notifications to alert smartphone users to incoming messages, breaking news and other updates. These are the audible dings or visual indicators users get when they receive an email or their sports team wins a game. What users often do not realize is that almost all such notifications travel over Google and Apple's server. Wyden called on the Justice Department to repeal or modify any policies that impede this transparency. Families of COVID-19 victims gathered as former Prime Minister Boris Johnson appeared at the pandemic inquiry. Johnson, who served from 2019 to 2020, resigned amid scandals for attending lockdown gatherings. He faces emotional inquiry sessions exploring Britain's high pandemic death toll. Let's hear some reactions.
If he says today that he got the big things right, I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to sit there. How is 230,000 deaths not a big thing? Over the last 7 weeks, we have heard so much that is depressing, distressing, completely incredulous. And today I'm just dreading hearing that the older and vulnerable in our society were collateral damage. There must be accountability, not weak apologies. It can't happen again.
I just want answers. I want to know why this has happened, why he didn't learn from the mistakes of the first wave, why he didn't lock down sooner, and why my mum died when she didn't need to.
I'm going to be without my parents this Christmas, and if we don't learn lessons, there's going to be other families in the future who will suffer from government ineptitude.
And the way he thinks he'll be remembered in history is very different to the way that I'll remember him in history. I think that he's been responsible for the highest death toll that this country's seen since the Second World War, and that he needs to stand up and take some responsibility and accountability for what he's done, rather than lying through his teeth. I mean, he hasn't even had the decency to come and see us today. He snuck in first thing this morning because he didn't want to face bereaved families, and I think that says all you can say about Boris Johnson.
He'll be remembered as a Prime Minister who presided over one of the greatest peacetime tragedies of all times in the world. And I mean, he's a disgraced Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister, so I think his legacy speaks for itself.
Time magazine named Swift its Person of the Year on Wednesday, a week after Spotify announced she was the most played artist on the streaming platform. Taylor Swift was picked from a group of 9 finalists that include Barbie, King Charles III and OpenAI chief executive Sam Altman, among others. Taylor Swift's year including the wildly popular Eras tour and concert movie, the release of the reimagined 1989 album and her closely watched relationship with Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. Now she's even the subject of college courses. Margarito Flores and his brother were once involved in running a multi-billion-dollar narcotics distribution network in the Chicago area alongside notorious Mexican drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo. Guzman now collaborates with an Illinois-based firm specializing in training narcotics investigators, agents and police officers across the United States.
I come from a family of drug traffickers.
This is Margarito Flores. He used to work with one of the world's most notorious drug kingpins, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Reuters has agreed not to show Flores' face out of a concern for his safety.
By the time I was 17, I guess I graduated by then, right? I had a degree in drug trafficking.
Flores went from counting packages of drugs as a child to running a multi-billion-dollar network with his twin brother in the Chicago area in the early 2000s, to eventual informant who turned on El Chapo. Now he's pulling back the curtain on his former trade secrets for law enforcement.
We're going to be going around the country and hopefully around the world and being able to share some of these tactics.
That's where you see money and drugs.
Flores works with an Illinois-based firm called Dynamic Police Training. At this session near Chicago, over 100 law enforcement personnel are learning about the flow of bulk U.S. currency that finances trafficking.
So I'm talking about bulk U.S. currency that needs to be moved in semi-trucks. That is what fuels drug cartels.
Between 2005 and 2008, the Flores brothers' distribution cell earned nearly $2 billion, receiving more than 3,300 pounds of cocaine a month from the Beltran Leyva and El Chapo's Sinaloa cartels. That's according to federal court documents and the U.S. Department of Justice. Arrested in 2008, the brothers were sentenced to 14 years in prison. For their cooperation, they served 5. Prosecutors credit them with providing unparalleled assistance for the government's case against El Chapo. As informants, the Flores brothers pressed record on an audio tape device and called him to discuss a heroin shipment.
The phone call, for sure, we knew that it was gonna, change our lives because the government had let us know that there has never been a legally recorded or intercepted call with Chapo Guzman talking about a drug transaction in the United States.
What do they want to do?
The brothers were released in 2020.
Get rid of it.
Flores' law enforcement trainees told Reuters his insight helps them figure out the best way to dismantle narcotics networks.
I don't know if there's anyone out there that could, sit here today and, understand the American drug trade, the Mexican drug trade, as I have. I live both sides of it from every aspect.
Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived on Wednesday in Abu Dhabi, the first leg of his Blitz Gulf tour. The host nation staged lavish welcome ceremony with jets flying over the city, leaving contrails in colors of Russian flag. Camel and horse cavalry guards lined the route of Putin's motorcade from the airport to presidential palace. Russian President Vladimir Putin highlighted the exceptional state of relations between Russia and the United Arab Emirates during a meeting with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Both countries collaborate with OPEC Plus and engage in significant oil and gas ventures. Putin mentioned televised discussions would include topics like the situation in Ukraine and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The visit marked a rare foreign trip for Putin since the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest for alleged war crimes committed in Ukraine. Well, that's all we have in this edition of the Bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day ahead. This is me, Neha, signing off.